Last night we told you about a report naming Singapore as the most expensive city in the world, and today the Finance Minister responded to that report.
That's right, he told Parliament that it does not necessarily reflect the reality for Singaporeans.
In a report by the Economist Intelligence Unit, or EIU, Singapore was named the most expensive city in the world, something that expats here can agree with.
I'm from Washington, D.C., so compared to Washington, D.C., it's very expensive. Rents, as an example, are extremely expensive. I think the only thing that's not really that expensive is the local food, which is nice, but if you want to get Western food, it's pretty expensive.
This has got a great business environment and it's very business friendly, and so it's very, very easy, for example, to set up a company and develop that company here. But you can work regionally from Singapore. So I understand why all these companies are based here in Singapore and not in some of the other, more developing countries, I suppose, in the region.
Finance Minister Tharman Shanmugaratnam said that report is aimed precisely at measuring the cost of living for expats. One reason Singapore has become expensive for expats is the strong Singapore dollar, which means it's more expensive for someone paid in a foreign currency. The second reason is the type of goods and services measured by EIU in the cost of living basket, which includes fancy dinners and luxury items. Mr. Tharman said a survey by the Asia Competitive Institute similarly ranked Singapore 5th out of 109 cities on cost of living for expats. But on cost of living for Singapore residents, the city was ranked 61st. What's more important, he said, is for Singaporeans' real incomes to grow faster than the cost of living. Low and middle income households have seen a 10% growth in their real incomes in the last 5 years. But another challenge the city faces is the rising cost of business as a result of the higher rental and higher wages due to the tight labour market.
The wrong strategy will be to weaken our economy, be a less vibrant economy. And you can think of many cities not so far from where we are, which are less vibrant, and the cost of living is lower. Cost of living is significantly lower because you don't have wage pressures and rentals are cheap. The cost of living is lower, but that's not what our business community wants, and that's not what Singaporeans want.
Mr. Tharman said Singapore is not going to be a cheap location for business, but the key is to ensure that costs don't rise faster than profits or wages. Analysts say businesses should also look at what Singapore can offer.
There are a lot of positives going for Singapore in terms of security, in terms of politically stable, and also at the same time there's a lot of infrastructure that enables Singapore and for businesses to do their business very well. Then of course, if you look at the need to send an expatriate, you need to see to what extent and at what level these people will be sent to Singapore. I think it is also to look at the local Singaporeans, whether they have the skill, whether they have knowledge, and if they have, why not mitigate your cost of doing business by employing Singaporeans.
Mr. Ang said this does not mean companies will stop sending expats to Singapore, adding that many hirers will consider the big picture before making the decision.